Today is standing abs for sciatica with no equipment needed. Let's go! All right, Killer Bees, let's go ahead and get moving and grooving. And that means that we're starting with some arm circles with high knees. You guys, I have such a good one for you today. Welcome to the workout. I'm Paula B., your best middle-aged fitness friend and somebody who has had sciatica. Now, I tell you what, first things first, I do want to tell you that this workout does not in any manner diagnose or purport to treat your sciatica. I do wholeheartedly encourage you to talk to your doctor and do physical therapy, because physical therapy is how I am now pain-free after a terrible bout of sciatica several years ago. But I will also tell you that if you have been diagnosed and you have been cleared to do certain exercises, these should be safe for your low back pain. I say should be because every case is different. Again, talk to your doctor. But today's workout is intended to be actually part of your physical therapy routine. Let's go ahead and do some arm crossers with booty kickers. We're doing standing abs today because ab work, core strengthening ab work is the reason why I am pain-free today, and could be incredibly helpful for you and your lower back pain. There's lots of different reasons why you might have sciatica pain. Generally speaking though, it tends to come from weak core muscles, and that's what we are working on today. Now today is intended to be, by its very nature, it's standing abs. It's going to be moderate, which means that it's actually a perfect part of almost any kind of routine. If you are body shaping, or if you are losing weight, or if you are just starting to get moving and starting to get fit. This one is intended to be truly short enough that you could use it as almost even a warm-up or in addition to other kinds of workouts you do. Let's go ahead and do some welcome to my homes. Our heart rate is up already, but we're not really going to have a super high heart rate today, which is part of why I'm keeping it sort of short. I know, my friends, that you love to sweat. Today is going to have its own level of difficulty. We're doing standing abs, which means that we're going to be doing a fair amount of balancing, a fair amount of difficult core strengthening work that maybe you're not super used to. Don't let the slow pace fool you. Today is not going to be easy by any stretch, but I do want to make sure that it fits into your routine no matter what kind of workout you are doing, what kind of routine you are doing. Now here's the dealio. I've got the timer set for 20 seconds. We're not moving fast today, but I didn't want to have to count so that we can talk about the exercises we're doing. But we're going to be doing 2 exercises in a row before we get some rest and settle ourselves before we're moving on to the next thing. The thing that I will tell you is that all of our exercises are going to require you to pull in your core. So let's take a half a second right now to actually find your core. You should be able to pull in while still talking, still breathing. You're bracing your core by pulling your belly button towards your spine. It's not quite the same thing as simply flexing your external abs. It's much deeper. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my timer started, and we're going to start with overhead to high knees. Oops. I'm using something new today, you guys. If you are not new around here, I've got my timer on my phone. So hands up overhead, we're coming down to one high knee and back up, and then the other high knee and back up. My handy dandy gym boss met an untimely demise yesterday after more than 10 years of service. And when it beeps again, we're going to go directly into star balance. Both hands up overhead, and then we're going to tip to one side and bring it back up and tip to the other. Now you'll notice with these short intervals, we're not really getting a lot of work done. We're not intending to. This could be very difficult balance work for you. I know it is for me. And therefore, we're simply using shorter intervals. We've got 20 seconds of rest here. And then go ahead and kind of let your core go for a second. And then we're going to brace it again because we're going to be doing standing oblique crunches. Hands on your shoulders. We're going to bring your knee up to your elbow on the same side. We're not doing any kind of twisting today. That was one of the instructions that I received from my doctor. So here we go. Crunching on one side and crunching on the other. For me particularly, I was told not to do any kind of twisting, and I have since gone on to, you know, being strong enough in my core and being completely pain-free, so that twisting is okay for me now. It's something, again, you'll want to check with your doctor. And then we're going to do an overhead front fold. So hands up overhead, we're going to push your hips back while we fold in half. And then push your hips forward. This is essentially a deadlift motion, pushing your hips back using your glutes and pulling yourself back forward using glutes and abs, and 20 seconds of rest. Let your core go before we take a nice deep breath and grab it up again. We're going to be doing stretching side bends. Now what that means is we're just going to have our hand up overhead. Side bends means that your hips are going to be super duper stable. Don't let your hip jut out to the side. We're using our abs and obliques for this motion. So reaching up overhead and then up overhead the other way. Keeping your hips super stable means your abs and obliques are doing all the work, not your hips and glutes. When it beeps again, we're doing drinky birds. That means that we are standing on one leg at a time while your other leg pulls up behind you, making sure that your core is pulled in tight. Of course, back stays straight. Probably only going to get about one of these done on each side. We're moving nice and slow and controlled today. The thing about not moving quickly means that I know you're feeling like you're not getting a lot of work done, but when you have your core pulled in, here's 20 seconds of rest, and go ahead and let your core pull out at this point. When you have your core pulled in really tight, it's difficult to sustain that for a very long time. It's why we're working in such short intervals today. When it beeps again, we're doing slow rainbow kicks, which means that your hands are going to swoop overhead like a rainbow, and one leg is going to come out to one side and up and over, and then the other leg on the other side, really working on your balance, really working on using those glutes and abs together. When it beeps again, we're going to go into squatted side bends. So once again, not letting your hips do any of the work by coming down into a half of a squat here, hands on your shoulders. We're going to get that elbow down to more or less your thigh or your hip on the same side, and then your thigh or your hip on the other side. Awesome job. Not trying to move too fast, really thinking about pulling in your core, squeezing from your abs, letting your abs and obliques do all the work. We've got 20 seconds of rest, and you guys, that was all of our exercises today. We're going to go through this circuit 3 times. Nice and quick, but plenty of work. When it beeps again, we're going to do overhead to high knees. So hands are going to go up overhead, bringing one high knee to meet your hands at a time. It's going to beep again here in just 1 second. And I know this timer is so different. I started to tell you the story of the untimely demise of my poor gym boss. It was the second gym boss that I have had. When it beeps again, we're doing star balance. And I will tell you, that thing is virtually indestructible. I've already ordered another one. I love, 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 love my gym boss. It's in my Amazon store if you ever want one for yourself. Here's star balance. But here's the thing. It is virtually indestructible. What happens though, when you accidentally drop it on the ground and then kick it and then step on it, weirdly, it doesn't survive that. And I will tell you, even funnier than that is that this is the second gym boss that has met the same demise. 20 seconds of rest. I need to be very careful when I drop things, because inevitably when I drop something, I will kick it and then step on it apparently. When it beeps again, we're doing standing oblique crunches. So your hands are going to be on your shoulders, bringing the same knee towards the same elbow on one side and then doing the same thing on the other side. Really pulling that core in, thinking about balance, thinking about standing on a leg that is soft but strong. When it beeps again, we're going into that overhead front fold, which is, again, essentially a deadlift. Thinking about keeping your back super duper straight. The thing about your internal abs and obliques, here we go with hands up overhead. Your internal core muscles, your core stabilizers, they're different from the external abs and obliques that we can see. You've got 2 layers of abdominals and obliques. The outer layer, I mean, of course you know those. That's your 6-pack of abs. The internal layer, their job, 20 seconds of rest here, their job is to keep your spine stabilized. So when those muscles aren't doing their job, when you're not feeling them pull in and hold on to your spine, when it beeps again, we're doing stretching side bends. So feet about hip width apart. Going to stretch up overhead, not letting your hips move at all. When your core muscles aren't doing their job, my friend, everything else tries to volunteer. most notably your lower back muscles for whatever reason. And I don't know if there's like a scientific explanation, honestly. When it beeps again, we're doing drinky birds. I assume there's some reason why your lower back muscles volunteer for everything, because they do. Here we go with drinky birds, pulling that leg back up behind you. Your back is super duper straight and strong. Core is pulled in very, very tight. Just a couple more seconds. We're not doing a ton of these drinky birds. I know for some of us who don't love drinky birds, this is just the exact right amount, isn't it? One on each side. Here's 20 seconds of rest. Coming up next, we're doing those slow rainbow kicks. So hands are going to go up overhead, really from side to side, kind of throwing you off of your balance. That's really the point of what we're doing here today, is we're balancing, but we're also challenging our balance in different planes of motion. The side kick here, very different from things that we do normally. Working your glutes from their side, working your obliques from their sides. Well, I guess obliques always work from their sides. That's where they are. When it beeps again, we're doing those squatted side bends. It's a very fast circuit today, moving quickly through these exercises. Come down in a little half squat, bringing your elbow down to wherever you can get to. If you can't reach your thigh or your hip or your knee or whatever, don't worry about that. You're standing up straight and tall on your shoulders and your back here. Chest is out, head is forward. We're just thinking about using our abs. That doesn't mean that we get to a specific place. We've got 20 seconds of rest, and you guys, that was our second time through the circuit already. As mentioned, I'm keeping this relatively brief today. You could use this as a warm-up or an addition to any other workout that you'd like to do that you're cleared for. Coming up next, we're doing overhead to high knees. Hands are going to be up overhead, and down we come to one high knee while we're standing up straight and tall. I know the urge is to curl down into this, but we're not really crunching today. We're really standing up straight and tall, pulling in that core. When it beeps again, we're going to do star balance, tipping ourselves off to one side at a time, only going as far as you can recover from. Some days, I'll be honest, some days I can only tip over maybe a couple of inches. Some days I can tip over significantly farther. I mean, here we are in round 3, and I'll tell you, my balance doesn't seem that bad today. Sometimes it really is. I mean, if you are not new around here, you have certainly seen me fall out of balance poses before. 20 seconds of rest. When it beeps again, we are doing standing oblique crunches. So hands on your shoulders, going to bring your same knee to your same side elbow. Really thinking about standing up straight and tall. Yes, we're crunching, but we're crunching to the side rather than crunching forward. For really all of our exercises, we're thinking about pulling on your core, of course, and for the most part, keeping your back really, really straight. For example, our next exercise, the overhead front fold. We're really thinking about keeping our back very, very straight rather than curling forward as though you're trying to, touch your toes if you were, for example, flexible enough for that. Having your hands up overhead really requires you to use your rear chain in a very efficient manner. You're using your big muscles in your upper back and then using your big muscles in your glutes to drive the motion, pulling in your core, keeping your back super duper straight. Excellent job. 20 seconds of rest. You guys, as mentioned, I mean, we're halfway through the third circuit here. We're coming up next. We're going to do those stretching side bends. Not too sweaty, but really starting to feel the work, starting to feel a little shaky on my balance, starting to feel that this is all working. This is the perfect amount of core strengthening work. The fact is, your core, if it is not super duper strong, needs to work a little bit at a time. I mean, like any muscle that you're working for the first time, when it beeps again, we're doing drinky birds, you wouldn't just automatically go into, let's say, 30 minutes of, biceps curls or something the first time you're working them. Your core muscles, while they are significantly more capable of doing lots of work over time than your biceps are, they still need a break. It's why we're taking our 20 seconds of rest and why we're keeping this workout short enough that you're going to get the perfect amount of work. We've got 20 seconds of rest, and then we're heading into our final pair of exercises, the slow rainbow kicks and the squatted side bends. Making sure that you're still grabbing onto your core for every interval here. Let it go so that you can feel it when you squeeze it again. Those slow rainbow kicks, hands are moving up overhead with that side kick. Really feels very different to kick out to your side, to throw yourself off balance from side to side. When it beeps again, doing those squatted side bends, keeping your hips very, very stable, keeping your core pulled in tight, your back up straight and your chest out while we bend down to the side, all the way down to your hip if you can and not if you can't, my friends. You should always, always, always make the exercises work for you. However that looks, however that feels, we're making sure that your core is braced, and then every other movement, honestly, 20 seconds of rest. I've got one final thing for us. I've got a finisher for us, which is flying fast up. So we are standing on one foot for the entire interval. I'm going to start with my left foot. Hands are going to go up overhead. We're going to tip forward slightly, keeping our body nice and straight, core pulled in tight. We're going to crunch down to the middle, bringing our knee up to our hands, and then we're going to extend out. So starting from the extended position, we're going to crunch in the middle and then extend out. It's not quite far enough over to be a drinky bird, but we are tipped over a little bit, throwing off our balance. When it beeps again, of course, we're going to do this exact same thing on the other side. Core is pulled in tight and strong. You're doing such a good job. Here we go on the other side, finishing strong. The next time it beeps is, well, I'm going to turn it off, so it'll be the last time it beeps. It could go on forever, though. The app on my phone is well, it's actually not really that different from the Gym Boss when I have it tucked into my belt. You are doing such a good job, my friends, and that was it. I'm going to turn this off before I forget. And then we're going to do just a little bit of cooling down. Now, I know lots of you, let's go ahead and do some arm circles with some side tappers. I know lots of you might use this as either a finisher for another workout, or maybe even as a core strengthening starter, a warm up before another workout. I've got some suggestions here on screen. If you are going a little bit further, if you have been cleared to do some cardio, I have a couple of cardio workouts that are safe for low back that even include a little bit more sneaky sciatica exercises for you. But I want you to know that if you are in active pain, I personally suggest that this kind of slow moving work is all you do. And I have an extended cool down for you if this was your only workout today. You are welcome to do this workout several times, but this is absolutely positively enough. Go ahead and open up your chest. And then we're going to close it up. Give yourself a hug and a pat on the back, because oh my goodness, what a great, great job you did today. Open it up. Nice deep breath. I love this stretch. And then close it up. My friend, no matter if you are on your way to another exercise or if this is your final destination, thank you so much for working out and getting sweaty with me today. You did such a great job, and I'm super, super proud of you. Make sure that you click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.